What's up, party people? My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. We're back. It's Wednesday, August 26th. I've got quite a few interviews lined up today. My first guest, his name is Aly Taha. He spent 15 years in energy, managing capital investment and operations with responsibility for as much as $10 billion across several geographies, running large organizations and scaling them. Memphis Capital invests in Egyptian small and medium enterprises with the intention of owning them for a long time. So with that said, I'm going to bring on Aly. Aly, how you doing?
Hi, Sunny. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Where in the world are you calling in from? And I guess maybe dive into the deep end after that on what Memphis Capital is and kind of what your, I don't know, worldview, what your thesis is, and why people should care.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm calling from Cairo, Egypt today, from the heart of the Middle East. I'm the managing partner of Memphis Capital, and I think you've mentioned somewhere that it's a search fund or a holdco, so it is a search fund or entrepreneurship through acquisition. So I think it's a very popular model in the US and North America in general, and sort like overflowing to other regions like in Europe. So just very quickly on it, it's a fund formed with the intention to acquire just one business, one SME, in a specific region with very specific criteria, including being a healthy business, having a positive cash flow, potential to grow, and most of the time they are like family-owned businesses or one-man show kind of business. And yeah, the family or the managing person is looking for retirement or have like a legacy challenge, like for example, no second generation to take over. So this like challenge is very common in Europe and US with the baby boomer generation, but in also in the Middle East and specifically Egypt, we have a similar challenge of many businesses that started up in the 70s and 80s, and they are doing well. They are modestly growing, but they are looking for new hands to take over them.
That's super interesting. So I want to go deeper into that. Obviously, your thesis around the fund. I like what you said. So, what entrepreneurship through acquisition? Very interesting. Probably an idea that not something not you hear about every day, right? But it's quite fascinating. I've been hearing more and more about it. But before we go into that, Ali, I wanted to talk about you had 15 years in energy. You were responsible for up to $10 billion. What made you leave that to go and buy one company?
It's mostly the entrepreneurial itch that has driven me for it. So I never lost it. Like even throughout my employment, I ventured out every now and then to start up a business, to run like a startup or yeah, have like a specific idea that I was after. And even throughout my employment, I used to work for one of the biggest energy companies in the world, and I had like a high level of autonomy within the company. So I typically would propose like a new investment opportunity or a new idea, building a new plant, acquiring an existing business, and then would present to the board. Will get like a small budget to run the study of the opportunity, and then would have like a small team, small resources, and then we'll grow it further, take it through decision gates, and step by step we'll get like bigger budget, bigger team, etc., all the way until realizing the opportunity. So I've ran like turnarounds. I've ran existing businesses that want to grow. I've ran like acquiring new businesses. New companies. So yeah, at a certain point, I felt like yeah, I would like to do the same, but for myself, like with higher, even a higher level of autonomy and yeah, like choosing businesses maybe outside the energy sector as well.
And you say that SMEs are the backbone of any economy, right? So when did that stop being a view and become more like a plan for you, Ali?
It became like a very clear plan during my MBA. I did my MBA at London Business School, and one of my classmates was running exactly the same model, the ETA or search fund model, somewhere in Europe, and like it caught my interest. Like I initially went for the MBA to kind of like explore career options and see like where can I bring my experience in the energy sector with my passion
Mm-hmm.
of going entrepreneurial. And for me, like the idea of leaving all this experience and background behind. And to be honest, I love my job. Like it wasn't like complaining about the company or anything, but I felt like, yeah, like if I grow further in the company, I would lose
Mm-hmm.
like the level of autonomy, the freedom that I have with
Right.
investments. And so I just didn't know like which route or which direction I should go with this. And when I saw this model being implemented firsthand in front of myself, I felt like, yeah, that's like bringing the best of both worlds, like jumping on a business that's already existed, already running. You can like feel it and touch it and talk to the people who are managing it. At the same time, it's entrepreneurial, right? Like you do a fundraising or yeah, look for lending options, buy the business, and then you, yeah, the world is yours. You just like improve the strategy, grow the business. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. So MBA was the right time.
That's fascinating. So Ali, civil engineering in Cairo, project management in the Netherlands, an MBA in London. Like, what did each one give you?
Many. So civil engineering, that's like my bachelor degree, my undergrad, and although I never really worked as an engineer, just like 1 year as a TA at the university, but engineering like really like kind of helped me in structuring my thoughts, building the right logic, critical thinking. It just helps in like yeah, following like a certain sequence or certain logic in and the analytical skills, of course, in looking at investments, for example. Project management in the Netherlands was a great addition because that's my earlier years passion was to be a project manager. I really love the idea or the concept of looking at resources, budget, managing people, look at new ideas. So bringing all this together in one pot and like being responsible for it. So again, project management. My master's in project management helped me in understanding like a little bit more about finance, economy, business development, uh, and of course people management. MBA in London Business School, that was more of like the cherry on the pie. So it brought like my previous career experience together with the different degrees I had, and yeah, it was um, yeah, the value that I got from it was a mix of like the theoretical part, like adding like extra knowledge layer on finance and the bits that were that I was lacking or the bits that were like my weaknesses. And at the same time was added like an extra layer of networking and very valuable network, either among the people on campus or the alumni network. And by the way, I did like an exchange with exchange courses at Columbia Business School. So yeah, like added like another extra layer of network in New York. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I got from them.
And I guess like which ideas or people kind of like most shaped how you think about ownership
You mean ownership of this idea or this route?
of just ownership in general, right? Going from working within a team to now, I guess, acquiring your own companies, right? Is there certain books or certain people in your career that kind of shape the way you think about owning businesses?
It was a mix of different things. So from childhood, I there was like some parts of my lifetime where at the age of like 12, 14, up to age of 16, like my father was an expat in a different country, me and my mother living in another country. So and I had to look after my father's business. So this developed like an early sense of ownership. Um, yeah, there are like a couple of activities. I mean, among sports and extracurricular activities I had on university. So I was like a board member of ISEC Egypt. ISEC is an international organization for student exchanges, and I had like several leadership positions in it. That again, like from my undergrad time, it gave me like sense of ownership, looking at after a certain budget, and also like people management from that sense.
Hey, Ellie, can you talk a little bit about like why Egypt and why now?
Sure. So a little bit about myself. So I'm Egyptian Dutch, and before living in Egypt or before
Hmm.
moving to Egypt, I was living between Netherlands and UK. And I feel comfortable like living in the three countries. I lived in many countries throughout my life, but these are the three countries that I feel, closer to or feeling comfortable doing business in. And yeah, I saw like an opportunity in Egypt before moving to here and deciding on doing this model in Egypt because Egypt is a growing market. It's an emerging market. It went through like different cycles of challenges internally and externally, and I saw like a good trend of between like government reforms, between like certain circumstances in the Egyptian market that yeah made me feel like this the right place to move in. In comparison to UK and Netherlands, both are developed markets. They wouldn't say saturated, but like running this model in there, there's like a lot of competition. SMEs are developed into a certain standards in both markets because of the competition. In Egypt, there's like a huge opportunity for um, let me put it in another way. Like there are a lot of SMEs in Egypt that are doing great in terms of profit and margin, while they are lacking a lot of management skills, for example. So you find like companies that are growing year on year and profitable, while they don't have like a sales team, for example, or like lacking very basics like that. Because the demand in the local market is very high, cheap labor cost. So like if you're in a business that's exporting its products and services to other regions, it's very competitive. And the Egyptian products and services are very popular or very they found their way to the rest of the Middle East and the African region. Beside like some industries and some ecosystems are tapping on the North American and the European markets as well.
That's really interesting. But Ali, most I guess investors, right, when they build a portfolio, they're kind of like they're usually building a portfolio, but you're buying, I guess, one business. So why is concentration kind of like the right call for you?
Um, it's mainly for focus and hands-on management. So I I'm a very strong believer in diversification, by the way. So, like, I'm personally investing in like different asset classes, and I like diversifying. But I love this model specifically because it's hands-on. I'll be like I've been looking for businesses already. You like something, and then you do the due diligence, and then you acquire it, and then you run it yourself. So it's not for the type of investor who would be like a passive investor or laid back or something. So even the my partners, the investors on my cap table, they are all either coming from a similar background, they did the model themselves, or they have like some industrial background. So to be like supporting in and coaching and monitoring on running the business afterwards. So it's like a different type of investment. But what I really like on it is you're like literally on the steering wheel, so you're taking the decision for the business to go in you know, like in the growth direction.
Fascinating. And then you also talk about kind of preserving the seller's legacy, right? So what does someone, selling their life's work actually need to hear to let go?
Yeah. So I typically get the question from most of the business owners that I'm speaking with, like, what's next? What's going to happen with my team, with the management team, with the people who are working for the business? Like, I've been working with these people for like 20, 30 years, for some even longer. So my message is assuring the people that I'm not like a typical private equity who's looking for a short-term gain, or is going to like cut costs and like reduce the number of employees, etc. But more of like it's a long-term investment. So we are like our plan is to acquire a business and manage it for at least 5 to 7 years before like exiting or cashing back the investors. So yeah, so that's the main message. And the other point is we are focused on growth. And when you are talking about growth, it's not about like changing like something major in the business or reducing the number of people, but rather adding like extra layer on the business.
And then is there a deal that you guys walked away from, and like what made you walk away?
Oh, too many. We we walked away from many businesses. So
Maybe next question.
sure, yeah.
Okay, so I guess without touching, the specifics, what's the case you make to someone backing an acquisition like this?
Um, so like the main focus in specifically an emerging market like Egypt is the growth potential. And assuring the people that it's a solid business on solid ground. I mean, for people who are familiar with the Egyptian market and Egyptian economy, we had like a few very high ups and also like very low downs in the past decade. So and of course, like we are in a region with a lot of changes, a lot of uncertainties. So there have been like big impact to the Egyptian market in a couple of instances. But showing the history of the business and how it fared throughout all the cyclicality in the economy and showing a robust performance, that's I believe it's very assuring for the investors. And at the same time, if the business model of the company is solid enough, it's like nothing cyclical or depending on like I don't know, like a specific regulation that maybe will change in the future or something. Then yeah, all such things are quite assuring for the investors.
Got it. Interesting. That's super cool. Okay, so I guess vertical growth and horizontal growth. Like on a business like this, which one comes first and why?
I think so. At the moment, I'm doing a due diligence for a business that has very strong potential for both vertical and horizontal growth. But I believe that the vertical growth is the main focus on the short term because that's the where the business is currently functioning, getting its margin from. And it's easier to focus on the same type of products or services that the company is producing and increase the sales either in new markets. So, for example, this company is a regional player. It sells its products and services both in Egypt and almost everywhere in the Middle East and most of African countries. So, and they have like exclusivity agreement for yeah, most of these countries. At the same time, they are not very active in many of these countries. They are focused on maybe 10, 15 countries out of the 37 that they have exclusivity agreement for. So, so the vertical growth is a very logical step short term. Medium and long term, horizontal growth, because it's in industry where there's like a lot of ecosystems and other like nearby sectors that it can tap on. Some of them are technical and AI solutions. Some of them are related to physical challenges, like having that business physically existing in some place. So yeah, so there is like a big opportunity for both.
Gotcha. And Egypt has been through like serious, I guess, currency devaluation, right? So how do you protect value in a business you intend to hold for years?
So I'm gonna have like 2 points on this question. One related to the deal that I'm specifically work on. So this company is like all its contracts and either service contracts or sales are done in US dollars. And the roughly around 30 to 40% of the revenue is coming from the Egyptian market. The rest is coming from other countries. So this is like a little bit of diversification in terms of risks related to a specific market. And at the same time, the company over the past 5 years have shown like healthy growth and a very consistent growth. We are talking about like 20% plus year on year. And the business model is very robust. So it's not like easy to get it impacted by changes in the local currency devaluations. The other part of my answer is related to the Egyptian economy. So as you mentioned, we have gone through like a few devaluations in the past 5, 6 years. So I believe, and you don't have to take my word on it, some of the economic experts, they believe that the government has learned its lessons from all these devaluations, and at the moment they have like a very strong team with like international economic background that are managing the currency valuations and making sure that the economy is like like doesn't have like very strong highs and very strong lows, but rather like modest ones, like more similar to European economies from that sense. At the same time, yeah, we have seen an evidence in the recent incidents in the Middle East, like the war in Iran and impact on logistics, supply chain, oil price, etc., which all are things that add to the formula of impact to the Egyptian economy. We have seen that the currency has kept it had like a little bit of dents, like up and down, but more or less over the past period since the beginning of the year, it has been rather stable from that sense.
And Ali, what do foreign investors most often get wrong about Egyptian SMEs?
Um, well, I think to start with, like not many investors are familiar with the Egyptian market. It's uh, yeah, it has again like we had ups and downs in the economy. So like when Egypt comes in the news and there's like a revolution or there's like I don't know anything that happens in the Middle East, then people tend to have like a stereotype about the Egypt and the Egyptian economy. But yeah, like needless to mention, there have been like foreign investors active in Egypt since the 70s. Like my grandfather himself, he started a business in Egypt in mid 70s with backed by American investors, and we have seen like this cycle. 70s and 80s were more American investors. Later on, it started becoming like more international and more European focused. I've seen like many investors specifically from France, Netherlands, Sweden, who are very active in the Egyptian SMEs ecosystem because they are either like tapping on companies that have like similar business to what they are investing in back home, or and they have seen like yeah the growth potential in the local businesses here, and especially tapping on like highly educated labor and very cheap labor. These are like some of the elements that really boost SMEs and make them grow faster.
Interesting. And if SMEs really are the backbone, like what has to change for capital to actually reach them?
Um, I think it's mostly visibility. So yeah, for example, taking the Egyptian market as an example, and it's not very different than some of the developed markets from that sense. There is no like database where like I'm investor, I love SMEs, I want to look for SMEs with specific criteria and in the industries that I like or I'm familiar with. So there are no like active and updated databases where I can like filter through the size, the type of business, the ownership, the performance over the past years. So I think this is a joint effort from different parties, including governments, chamber of commerce, or trade committees, investors, and the business owners themselves to improve the visibility of businesses, to identify their needs, whether it's growth capital, whether it's exit, partial exit. So, like in my journey, I came across like many businesses that are up for sale, but they don't know like where to tap or where to start from, how to access investors. So, of course, it's a good opportunity for me. Then, yeah, I have access to something that's off the market. But like if you are talking about the good or supporting SMEs in general, then visibility definitely helps.
And I guess, yeah, thank you so much, Ali. This has been an awesome interview. I learned a lot. I wanted to ask you one more. So 10 years out, like what does Memphis Capital own? Like, or I guess rather, does Memphis Capital own one company or many?
I would love to say many. So my vision is to start with one business, focus on it, and grow it to a certain extent. And whether we do consolidation later on and acquire like smaller businesses, or again, like going back to the discussion about horizontal growth, so possibly acquiring other businesses that can like support the growth of this company.
Awesome. Ali, where do people learn more about Memphis Capital? Where do they learn more about you? And then, yeah, I guess we'll land the plane after that one.
Yeah, sure. So I put like just like very brief information on the structure of Memphis Capital on my website, memphiscapital.partners. There is more information about my background and my story and some previous interviews on LinkedIn. My name is Aly Taha, and yeah, happy to connect with anybody who's interested or have questions on the model.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Ali, hang out for 1 minute. I'll bring this stream to an end. It's early morning here in Toronto, 7:30. So I'm very grateful to see almost 20 people are listening to us live. Really appreciate all of you. And like I said, we've got a bunch of other interviews coming up. Thank you so much, Ali. This was fun. I'll see you on the other
Thanks,
side.
Sonny.